Hello everybody, welcome to our Getting Started with Blender, our intro session. This is part 2. Hope that everyone's been able to rewatch or go over what we went over last week with Leon. And here we are, we're going to continue with part 2. So really excited to be able to do this. So once again, my name is Tom Sternad. I'm here with the Creatorspace project. And just want to thank all of our partners in this project. So we have the Canada Council for the Arts, and then we have our library partners, Blue Mountains Public Library, Collingwood Public Library, Wasaga Beach Public Library. And a reminder, we have our iMac, 27-inch iMacs that have Blender loaded on them. So you can go to any of these 3 libraries, come and check out computers. There's 2 stations at each library, and you can try all these things out and rewatch the session while you're there and follow along. So in case you don't have a computer at home, just sit back, relax, enjoy, listen, and you can try these out at the library in a future date. So without any further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Leon. Here is Leon.
Thank you, Tom. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Blender Intro number 2. So we'll continue on now to explain how to do basic modeling in 3D using Blender. As I previously explained last week, all the basic tools that you needed to use to start modeling your characters or your objects models. Today we are going to use that and apply it into a model that we're going to build, like a basic model, to help you understand a little bit more how the process of modeling in Blender is. So if you open Blender, and you will see the screen here. Let me see if I can open the shortcuts. Start shortcuts. So I'll go to the left. Yeah, so it's on the left side there. You can see my shortcut that I use in order to help explain more. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me the questions before the end of the sessions today, or send me an email. That will be great too. Okay, so when you open Blender, you'll see this 3D viewport. This is the layout that you will give. Last week, I mentioned that if you have a specific thing that you're doing, on the top here, you can switch to different layout that will optimize for whatever that you want to do. In this case, today, we are doing modeling. So go to modeling layout, then this is already optimized for that. So there's not much changes between modeling and general layout. The only thing different is here. So the animation playback timeline here is going to be gone, right? But if you go to sculpting, as you can see, is you get the cube ready and then all the tools ready for sculpting. So let's go back to modeling layout. And again, like what I mentioned the last time, we are going to try to build an X-Wing. I'm sure you heard of it. It's the space fighter plane from Star Wars. So we're gonna try to build the model, like a really basic model of it, using the 3D Blender. If you, the first thing that you need to do before you do anything is to find a reference of the images that you're going to model. And in this case, I have the images on my second monitor. So I will use the reference. I'm not gonna add the, actually, you know what? Let's do that. Let's do it properly. I'm going to download this image. Just give me a second, okay? And save image as. A lot of this place is not allowing you to download the JPEG image. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah, okay. Swing. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back here. So let's open a new, don't save, go to modeling. So I need to reset my workspace a little bit. Okay. All right. So we were here. So first thing I do is I'm going to hide this camera and the light on the 3D viewports because we really don't need it right now. So it's, last week I mentioned about the library here or the scene collections. As you can see, if you hide it, the eyes here close. So if you want to see it again, you just click on the eyes in the eye and it will show up. So we're gonna start with the cube. That's the best basic that we're gonna use, basic shape. And first thing I want to do is to go to image reference. And I'm going to find my reference. Actually, let's see, image reference. There you go. So I'm going to put it in the front view. Okay. And we're going to use this as a start to start modeling it. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to make the body of the space fighter. Let's see. And I don't want to click this image while I'm modeling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to the library. If you can see this on top here, that look filter, you click on it. You can open the filters, and then there's a restrictions toggles here on the top. And there's a kind of like an arrow. I want you to click on that, selectable, right? So that means it will open up the selectable in your library. Before, we don't have that, then there's no selectable, but I turn it on. So what it does is if I click on the selectable here, then it will disable the selections. Then I won't be able to select it at all, right? So I'm not gonna be moving this anywhere or making any mistakes. So I lock that into the scene. Now I can just start modeling without worry about selecting that image reference. Okay, so let's go to site orthographic view. Actually, let me just open another one. I'm gonna make open another reference here to help me and then I'm just gonna hide that as well. Okay, so now I have the reference in front view and side view. And I'm gonna lock it as well, so I'm not gonna touch it. All right, so now that's the basic to start with. Now we're going to start modeling the cube. So let's make the body. What we want to do is we want to stretch it as a long cube here, and then we want to stretch it in the y-axis, right? So I would say about that much. Okay, and we are going to go to the edit mode. You can either go to edit mode here, or you can press tab to toggle between edit and object mode. So next thing you want to do, I want to make it an X-ray. The shortcut keys for an X-ray is Alt Z, right? So that means if I want to select multiple of what do you call it again? Multiple vertex, I can use the X-ray mode to do that. Now, so if I'm not in X-ray mode, if I am selecting one vertex mode, I won't be able to select the vertex mode at the back of the objects, right? So, but if I'm in X-ray mode, if I'm selecting all, I will be able to move the vertex behind me in the if I'm in the orthographic mode right now. So you should toggle between X-ray and solid, but generally what I do is I'm having it in X-ray mode just for the beginning, so I can just work on it really quickly. It doesn't give me like normally what I do is I'm having a reference from the front and the back, but for this case, I'm just gonna try to make some kind of guesswork in this modeling exercise. So just to give you an idea how to model it. Okay, so I would say about like that much. And then I'm gonna make edge loops in the middle here. So I'm gonna go to edge and then Control R. Right, and then I'm going to go to vertex mode again, and then move this forward. And then I'm going to make edge loop around this area here. Okay, that's will be good. And now I'm going to make an edge loop in the front here. And I'm going to go to top view, vertex mode. Make it forward. There. So that's good. Now we're going to make a cockpit. Let's select the edge mode. And then let's extrude it by pressing E. Actually, the cockpit will be on the back too. So extrude it. And then go to vertex mode. So get a cockpit there. So maybe I'll extend it the back here. Okay. All right, so That looks okay. So maybe move this bit up. If I press G twice, that means I'm going to move the edge loop without messing up the geometry. So if I don't press G twice, if I move it, it will move the whole sections instead of just the edge loop. So if you press the edge loop here, and let's make another one here. Let's move it forward. Links. All right, so expand this in the back here. Select, multi-select. Scale it in x-axis. Scale it in x-axis. All right, so that should be okay. Perfect. Now I want the bottom to be straight. So I'm gonna select at the bottom here. I'm gonna press scale. And then in z-axis, and then I'm gonna press 0. Oh, sorry. Select at the bottom, scale, S, and then the z-axis, and then I'm gonna make it 0 as to make it all the bottom vertex line up at the bottom and the same look straight here. I can do the same thing here if I wanted to. Doesn't need to, but let's just S, Z, 0. As you can see, it's straight up. So okay. All right, so that will be the basic for the body. Let's see. Actually, one more thing, and I'm gonna go to edge mode, and then I'm going to select this edge here by double-clicking it. Actually, let's go to solid mode, top view, and I'm gonna go to face mode. And there is what do you call it? I can just select the shortcut key is C. I forget what they call it, but basically it's just for multi-selecting like a painting. So instead of like clicking one by one and press Shift to do it like that, if I press C, you can see that I can have this size here. This is the amount that I can select, or multiple select by just painting on it. And okay, and then I'm going to scale to give more round kind of feeling. And I'll do the same thing at the bottom. Make sure so I don't select anything on the top. Okay. Select scale X axis and make round bottom. Perfect. Now again, you can always tweak around and play around to make it as detailed as you want it to, but we don't have the time to do all that. But normally I play around and make sure that all the model looks similar to what I want to model, the image reference. But I'm just going to make something really quickly here to show you how to model, to start modeling in a very basic way. Right, so now we're gonna do the jet engine here, the 4, that's the cylinder. Right, there's 2 ways of doing it. One is to go to mesh and get the cylinder, right? So you want open the cylinder options here after you have it on. You want to get the vertice down to 16. You don't need really like high vertice, high triangle or vertice for that. So 16 vertice or maybe 8 is enough. You don't need that much. As long, I mean, you still retain the shape of the cylinder, right? So this is one way of doing it, right? Or another way is to use subdivisions. I like using this because I can get like a better looking subdivision. I mean, a better looking mesh with less vertice required. So I'm going to use the same thing, cube, right? So I'm going to go to the right here. It's like kind of like a wrench. That's for the modifier. If you click on the add modifier and you go to subdivision service, it will give you this, right? So, and you want to go to Catmull and Clark, which is the best one to do the subdivision service. And the number of subdivisions you want, you can add it from the level viewport here, which is like 1, right? Currently 1. If you click 2, the higher it is, the rounded the subdivision look, right? The more like a ball it is. But the good thing about it is this is not adding any triangle in your image. If you added it, you're still in the basic cube, right? But you get this really nice rounded object without needing to add it all this vertice into this object, which is great for a polygon if you're having to do modeling in a very limited polygon count. So especially in a game, because not everybody has the same specs in their computer. So some are higher and some is lower. So you need to be able to make something that is distinguishable, but in a very low poly. So this subdivision surface is great because it doesn't give you any polygon, but it still gives you this really nice smooth surface. So for this, we just go to 2. And the levels viewport is basically what you see in the viewport. The render is how much subdivision you want to see in the render, in the final render, right? So right now, I suggested the level viewport as low as possible, low, like 2 or 3 is probably good. And once and you render it, you might want to go to like 5 subdivisions, right? So that will render it better and smoother. Okay, so let's go to 2. Okay. So let's go to side view, bring it to the side, and then we're going to edit it in edit mode. And then we're going to scale it in y-axis. Now that doesn't look like cylinder, right? Now, what we need to do is to add an edge loop. 2. As you can see, it looks like a cylinder already. So let's move this forward. Backward to look like this. There you go. Right, so and then we're gonna scale it down, maybe around this much here. Hey, all right, so that's good. And I'm going to duplicate it, and then put it at the bottom. Okay. So you got the engine there. I'm not gonna do the other side because what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go to the object, and I'm going to add the modifier, and this time I'm going to add the mirror modifier. As you can see now, I have the subdivisions and I have the mirror modifier. Now the mirror is to, and then I'm going to use this body, the main body, as the main, as the anchor, as like the basic, in watch objects that I want this engine to be mirror. Like this is the base for the mirror. So like if I'm gonna go to select this eyedrop tool here, and I'm gonna collect the object cube here. See, it's mirror right exactly there. Now this is great. Then you can, whatever you make changes in here, right? So it will be reflected on the other side. So you don't have to model twice. And the same thing here. Add modifier, mirror, just add. Done. Now we're going to make this some kind of a wing here on the side. There's 2 ways of doing it. We can make we can add it into one single object here. But it's more complicated because of the subdivision service. So what I do is I'm just gonna make another object, and I'm gonna make another cube, and I'm going to scale it in z-axis. I'm just gonna attach it to the engine here. Make sure I'm in the middle. Scale in y. Right. So I'm going to edit this object here. And scale this up. Bring it down there. Then I'm going to extrude it. not sure what else. Okay, scale. Okay. Let's fix the scale here. Scale Y. Okay. Select this. Select box. There you go. All right, extrude it. Down, extrude it again. Yeah. Let's extrude it one more time. Scale it. Okay. So that's okay. Then what we're going to do is, let's bring this empty, move it a little bit to, okay. I'm going to object mode. I'm going to rotate it just on an angle. Okay. It's a little bit too long. So let's fix that. Let's scale this in x-axis. Edit it. Okay, so that's great. Perfect. And I'm going to duplicate it. And this time I'm going to rotate it 180 degree. Rotate 180 degree. So that's so. All right. So that's starting to look like next wing. So now we are going to duplicate this and move it here to get that gun. Now the difference is, well, we are going to make some kind of adjustment to make the gun pointing out. So we are going to face mode. We are going to extrude, and then we're going to scale it down. And then we're going to extrude again. We're going to scale it down again. And then we're going to move it back in y-axis. Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to extrude it again. extrude again. So, and this is just a matter of extruding. Extrude, scale. Wait. Let's see how we're gonna do this. We don't need to extrude this one actually. Like let's make another object. D. So let's make another object. Shift A. Let's put a cube. As you notice, I use a lot of cube in order to do my modeling, because the subdivision service is something that is it's one of the great invention that allow you to do high quality modeling with smooth surface with less polygon. So let's see, scale in x-axis. Down. Go to X-ray mode, vertex, forward. This is just like a very deep, more detailed looks on how you're going to add the gun here. But essentially, like the idea is just if you're using just a basic shape in order to create a more complex image by adding multiple simple objects and then just model it to, because everything that you see around you are more or less made from a basic shape. So that's why when you're learning art the first time, they always tell you to break it down into the most basic shape that you can think of. Like even in nature, when you're trying to draw trees or cloud or anything like that, if you look at it very carefully, and you'll be able to break everything into the most basic shape in order for you to be able to draw it. Right, so oops, that is the camera mode. We don't need that. So let's just finish this really quickly with one more cube. And I'm going to do the subdivision service, which is the shortcut key is a Control 2. That means like I'm going to have subdivision service with 2 subdivision. Oops. Let's just make an easy cylinder there. And then just scale it in x-axis, sorry, scale it in the y-axis. All right. And something similar to that. So next thing you want to do is to, let's make a mirror modifier and use this the main body as the, so if I select this and then control select the other one, and if I'm shortcut key is control L, I'm gonna copy the modifier, right? And the same thing. Same thing here, control L, copy modifier, same thing. Select, copy modifier, there you go. You got all the same mirror modifier. Now, we are going to select this and select this tree. And we're going to duplicate it, bring it down here. All right. There you go. You got an X-wing there. It's basic. I mean, you can add more details by, let's say, adding the front here. Yeah. By extruding, scale it up. This is like adjustment and adding more detail in order to look more like what the artist draw. So this is going that direction. So let's move this. Rotate. Okay. This selections, move it down to get more volume. Middle set to get more rounded volume. Click on this one. All right. So next thing there's another way to do to make it smooth is as you can see here, you can see the polygon, and if you want to make the image smooth, you can just right click on the object and then shade smooth. Right. So to make it smoother, same thing here. Control 2. That's your Y. Okay, that is the X-wing. Same thing here if you want to sheet smooth it. Okay, one last thing is to make this hole in this engine here. Extrude it, scale it down, extrude it, scale it down, bring it to the y-axis. Okay, the same thing here. Extrude it, scale it down, extrude it, scale it down.